name's Shannon, and I'm going to be talking today about how to speak professionally. And this can go for just about any profession, but in particular, we're talking about how dietitians can speak professionally in the clinical setting. Making eye contact when you're speaking to somebody can help to make sure that you're paying attention to the person that you're speaking to and that they're paying attention to you. This helps with understanding, clarifying any confusion, and making sure that everybody's on the same page. Speaking with facts and providing evidence helps to ensure that the other person understands that this isn't just an opinion that you're bringing to the table. This is something that's supported with documented evidence, and it's going to best help the situation. This could be in regards to changing a formula for somebody, updating their total parenteral nutrition recommendations. This could be if you're providing recommendations for increasing fluid levels and something along those lines. After providing all of your information, leave time for other professionals to ask questions or have their opinions as well. Because one thing that is really important to understand is that taking care of a patient is everyone's goal. Everyone's goal is to provide the best care for somebody. So leaving room for other people to have their own opinions helps that person to convey their information back to you, as well as for you to understand where they're coming from with their own recommendations. Understanding your audience is also so important when you're talking to other professionals. You don't want to go up to a professional and provide them with all of this information just to realize that they aren't the right person to talk to. So that one can make it look like you don't really know who to speak to, but then also it's just kind of a waste of everyone's time. So understanding who you need to speak to in each situation. When speaking professionally, you want to remember to present the main information first. So you don't want to be beating around the bush and have all of these thoughts and jumping from here and here and here and here. You want to present the main information, have it available, leave room for communication, and then present some of the supporting evidence for that. You don't want to go up to somebody who has a million things to think about and just start talking about a bunch of other random things that might then connect to the main point. Start with the main point and then say your supporting evidence after. Understanding what you're talking about is extremely important when you're talking in a professional manner. If somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer or you're not familiar with the topic, it's okay to take a step back and say, you know what, I'm not familiar with that. We never want to make assumptions. We don't want to infer anything. We want to have facts. We want to know everything about the patient before we make a recommendation. If you are not familiar at all with the patient, it's okay to provide this information to maybe the dietitian who is more familiar with that patient. But the one thing that you want to make sure you're not doing is just grabbing at straws and making stuff up. I've touched on this a few times now, but it's something that cannot be talked about enough. So we want to be respectful of other people's time. If we have a thought that we want to bring to somebody, we want to make sure that we have full information on it. If they ask a question, we want to be able to answer that question. We know that healthcare professionals are extremely busy and usually they have a pretty tough workload. So making sure that we have all of the information every time we talk to them will help to reduce the amount of time that they have to spend doing one specific thing. Not only is it important to speak professionally, but it's important to dress professionally. When you don't dress professionally, it's hard for other people to take you seriously. So even though I could be presenting the same information, if I'm dressed like this, that information might not be conveyed in the way that I want it to be. So dressing professionally is definitely a component of speaking professionally. And lastly, we just want to make sure that we're speaking respectfully and being kind to everybody. Whether we're talking to a nurse, another dietitian, speech, therapy, we could be speaking to the people who clean the rooms and clean the bathrooms, lab, pharmacy. I mean, there are so many people who have to come together in order to provide accurate and adequate care for each patient. So we want to make sure that we're kind to each and every person.